Welcome to the channel with Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. I don't practice as a theologist anymore, but I do share my knowledge of years and years of helping people and life through the internet. Everything, as I keep saying, comes back to resolve. But what if you're in a relationship and the person that you're with is turning up? They're doing relatively enough to keep you interested. You're running on your faithfulness and your commitment to the relationship. And this other person, the person that you're with, just will not bring resolve. The unresolved's because of triangulation. You're being strangled psychologically. You're under assault. You're in psychological combat, spiritual warfare, and you're just applying your principles that you know on how to hold back the darkness. And you're watching this person sinking the relationship. And you're wondering, why won't they get things in order? Well, the answer for that's simple. They don't want to. They just don't want to. Now, does that make that person a bad person? No, it doesn't. But it sure makes them bad at running a relationship. Relationships aren't all that valuable to people at different levels. When you're plodding along and you're doing the right thing and you're just trying to bring peace and love and joy, and somebody's undermining that and you're choosing to stay with that person, you really might need to have a close look at where you are with yourself, because sometimes we stay with people that are psychologically assaulting us because we're not at peace with ourselves. And you can thank these micro incremental dark triad characteristic people for the strength that they give you, because they give you strength in the arts of tolerance, awareness, self-awareness, relationship combat, relationship care. And they also show you how somebody can wear you out of interest in a relationship. These people know what they're doing. They know they're pushing the boundaries because you've told them. And they know that they'll probably be moving on to somebody else before the relationship ends. That's why they keep pushing. They got no intention of hanging around with you. You're just the train passing through till they get off at the next station that's convenient or get pushed off. A lot of people have been in relationships for a long time where nothing has had to be resolved or nothing ever was resolved. And that's the danger of the dating sites. You don't know. You don't know what you're getting yourself into on those things. Plus, you're losing your skills of being able to meet people naturally. Now, meeting people naturally doesn't really guarantee anything different to the relationship. Oh, well, the dating site, the meat market dating sites, still comes down to your ability to discern and your perception. But one thing's for sure, there's nothing worse than getting into a relationship with somebody that really isn't going to contribute to the relationship in a way that's beneficial for both people. They're just turning up for themselves, blindly turning up for themselves. Well, how can you tell if somebody's turning up for themselves and it's not for you? Because they're not fixing the problem. They're leaving you in a spiritual warfare, a warfare that the enemy is coming from that person. the problem's coming from behind that person. And these people run on self-sympathy. They run on the sympathy of each other, the triangulation contributors. You've got to know when you've done nothing wrong and they're trying to villainize you, and you're in this invisible war, right? And the person that you're trying to have a relationship with has no clue what it's doing to you, because they're too focused on what they're coming to get, not the condition of who they're with. Because it's not about a relationship, it's about supply. And when you're in the relationship and you're producing A-grade supply, you're doing all the arts that you know as a man for the woman, and then you're starting to, in the middle of it, all this, where you're trying to build love and everything, you're starting to get a sense of resentment. Ooh. And that's concerning, because you don't want to enable those types of micro-incremental dark triad attributes within yourself. And this is what happens with unresolved. You start to manifest incremental parts of the evil that is within you, instead of bringing love. I said to my last partner, I can't tell you I love you because you're not demonstrating a performance relative to resolve that I can honor. And it's like, I'll tell you what it's like, having a fire with wood on it, and it's just slowly starting to rain, and you're trying to keep the fire burning, but the other person's just pouring water on it. The rain stops, so they get out the hose, and they just gently got the hose on it, just enough to keep you trying to keep it burning, but they're actually damn well putting it out. That's what unresolved does. When you're in a situation and you're asking somebody to resolve a problem and they're not, once you start feeling resentment, bitterness, torment, when your tolerance is exhausted and you're starting to go innately evil, you've got to accept that the relationship is dead and get out. You've got to start backing out. These people, they don't care. They know what's right and wrong. They know what works and what don't work. They know who you are. They know that you're going to give in. They know your history. They know what you're like. You won't, once you crack, that's it. They're gone. And that's what they want. They want to go to their new supply, take out their resentment and bitternesses they have towards you for wanting them to fix something that would benefit the relationship on the next partner. And really, if you want to be free and get well real quick from the relationship, think of that person and the condition they were in before you come along. Because it's probably going to end up worse than that for them. If something good comes into your life or their life and it's taken for granted, that's asking the universe to bring trouble on you. It's just the way it is. You cannot take relationships for granted. It's not our place to do that. And yes, there are reasons that are legit where you know, it's time just to leave it go. But when you've been pushed, when you've been strangulated, triangulated, and you've had your hands around that triangulation, trying to get it from around your neck, and the other person's just leaving you there to strangle. You think about how strong you are. You're up against all this crap and rubbish and garbage that this person's allowing into the relationship. And you're throwing all your relationship skill, assets, weaponry at this thing, and you're watching this person just leave it go, and you're getting stronger and stronger and strong, and you're learning, you're growing, while this other person's just practicing skills that ruin things. But you're learning how to navigate this garbage and rubbish that they've got as their foundation for the relationship. Like, honestly, what was the person's foundation for the relationship? The fact that they weren't going to fix the problem. That's what it was. And that's why they were troubled when you come along, because they don't fix the root of their problems. They don't want to. They love it. That's why they're victims, perpetual victims. A lot of these people. And it justifies everything they do. Oh, they've got no power over you, no power against you. Doesn't matter what they say about you. The people that know you know that it's not what they're saying. And it doesn't mean these people are bad. They're just destructive. I'm going to say that again. It doesn't mean these people are bad. They're just self-destructive. And self-destructive people destroy the people that they are engaged in if you're not aware of how these people function. They're self-destructive. And if you find yourself in a relationship with a relationship self-destructive person, you can use that situation to benefit yourself psychologically, mentally and emotionally, and in the arts of tolerance, patience, forbearance, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, and all those wonderful arts that if you weren't in that situation wouldn't have to be put into practice, so you can measure where you're at with your tolerances and things. Don't look back at these people, these self-destructive people, with resentment. Look back at it with gratefulness and thank them for the opportunity to practice these wonderful characteristics that you otherwise would not have been able to use without their dysfunction. They've been a benefit to you. Move on a stronger and better person. If you've done the right thing and you can look in the mirror and go, I really did try and build something constructive, but they weren't going to let me, the future's bright for you. But it's not for the person that ruined the relationship, because guess what? That's who they are and that's what they're going to do, whether it's with you or not. But it all comes down to your self-examination, your post-mortem, and your true, unbiased diagnosis of your performance in that relationship. And if you didn't perform, you better sort out what the problem is, or it's just going to happen again. Don't worry about the person you left behind. They're already in bed with somebody else. Don't worry about that. That's of no consequence to you. You learn, grow, process, and understand. Build your character. And let the universe be proud of you. Proud that you tried against the odds. You see, it's a battle against good and evil. And a lot of people are deceiving themselves, running around, wrecking things, thinking that they're good. They're not good. And any charity they do, they're getting paid for it anyway. That's not charity. I know what charity is. I was a minister for 15 fucking years. The person you were with, now that you're gone, will become what they were before you come along. And you will, whatever you were before they come along, go on back into that and continue in that way. If the person you were with was destructive, they're going to go on to be destructive. And if you were constructive, you're going to go on to be constructive. And the world will bring you the right person because you tried your best with what you had. That's how it rewards you. But it's not the same for the one that messes everything up, because they'll go on to be messed up. It's just how it works. They'll think they're getting away with shit, but they won't. And the sand in the hourglass will be gone, and they've had every opportunity to find peace and love, and they couldn't find a way of making that work for themselves. They've given themselves their own sentence. You be honest, be peaceful, practice the sacred Christian arts, forget about the mockers and the scoffers. They'll end up where they're supposed to. And the Lord himself, the creator of the universe, who's watching all these tests and all the ways in which you deal with them, will reward you accordingly at the right time.